Switch chat room, take one.
What does faith mean to you?
Faith to me means trusting God and in everything.
Faith to me means having like an intimate relationship with God.
Faith means following God.
It's trusting in something even whenever you can't see it.
Yeah, like with me, like I don't even know what I want to do with my life. Like I'm 18 and I don't know about college or anything, and I'm just waiting on God's timing, and that takes like a lot of faith. Sometimes I'm like, God, when are you gonna like reveal to me what I'm gonna do? So.
But trust is so hard.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, more people, it's hard to trust people, but like because of like how people have damaged like our trust, it's like harder to trust God, at least for me.
What do you think it would look like to develop the kind of trust that you have in your best friend with Jesus?
I think sometimes it's like God is always consistent. So I think it's like us being consistent and like reading our Bible, praying, like making sure like you are spending time with him, because like that's how you get close to somebody.
Yeah, like it's not a one-way relationship.
Right.
Like it's not just God doing stuff for us all the time.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely trust God more than anybody else. Like
I
even with my best friend.
I would.
Like, I don't know. I talk to him a lot more than I do with my best friend. And that's really weird coming out of my mouth because I'm literally like with her like all the time. And we do pretty much like the same things.
Even in my darkest times, like he's always like shown himself to me and always been there. And even whenever I'm like, God, please speak to me. And then I realize I'm like, well, you know, his Bible is like all the answers. When I open it up, the answer is like right there always.
Right.
You get to a point with God where it's like a human relationship to where like the more you're around them, the more you get to know them. So
I think for me, it was like showing up even like when I didn't want to, like reading my Bible every morning, even though like maybe I didn't want to that morning, or showing up to serve, like, and just like having other people that were doing the same thing. I think that's so important, like watching that be modeled in other people.
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like it's a little bit different than you guys'. It's always been like surrounded through like traumatic things. And I think anytime that like I get into like a deep, dark spot in life, like I'll always like question him, and that's whenever I will talk to the most, because I'm always like, why did you do this? Like, why did you let this happen to me? And like all these sorts of questions. And then I feel like at some point after I have a talk with him like that, he like answers and like basically says that it's like, it was the best and he had planned it out for me.
What about when it doesn't feel like he's that close to you?
you just have to like trust and know that like he is still gonna be there and that he is there even if you don't really feel him, like he's always there.
I feel like whenever I don't feel God's presence, that's whenever I like tend to lean in more to it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, then I'm like, okay, now it's a challenge. Like, I want to hear you. So like, I'm reading the Bible, I'm praying, like, I'm going hard in worship. Like, I want to hear you. So like, that's like, I feel like whenever I don't hear from him, the doubt makes me seek him more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think that whenever I don't hear him, it's like terrifying, but I also know that when I didn't hear him before, he was always there. So I always try to seek more into it and like kind of dig more and be like, okay, I know you're here, just like help me find the right way to hear you, or like to like feel you and like know what you want me to do or what you want to say to me.
Share a story or an example of a time when it was really hard to trust God, but you chose to anyways.
I have this friend that me and him both like had a crazy connection about, because our moms both passed away in like the same year and we were like around the same age, but we didn't meet until like a few years ago. And whenever we had finally like told each other stories like that, it was really weird. Like just the fact that somebody else lived the exact same thing as me, because she had also like passed away the exact same way. And so sharing that connection with somebody else just made me like feel that like I'm not alone in that situation or like any other situation, because there's always going to be somebody that will relate to you.
Yeah, for me, whenever like ever since I was little, like I was super close to my grandparents, and My grandpa, he got cancer when I was about in middle school. So when he passed away last year, it like wrecked me. Like I was completely like destroyed. I was like, I know that he's like in good hands, but I just need you. Like I need you, God. Like I need you to help me take away this pain, this like sadness, and just give me peace. And then that night I dreamt of my grandpa, and when I woke up, like all the sadness, everything was like completely washed away. Like it felt so crazy because it was just this peace that just like, it's like unexplainable. It was insane. And I was like, okay. And that's kind of what also started my like journey to church.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What did you learn from this conversation?
Probably that different people view it differently and they experience it differently.
It all comes in different forms for everybody, like catered to like what they went through and stuff like that. But it all comes down together that, you know, believing in God and like putting, you know, trusting Him.
I just think it's cool that like we all trust in the same God and like He's good to all of us in different ways. I think that is insane. That's so cool. And I'm glad I got to hear you guys. It's like, thanks.